Good morning. You know, this show is about the infanticizing of America. We were just told that now you have to be 21 to purchase tobacco products in a lot of states in our country, and I think it may be the whole country now, thanks to Donald Trump, a Republican, which is kind of weird because the Republicans used to kind of always be on the smoker side. They were really into big tobacco. And when a Republican was in office, smokers could breathe a sigh of relief. Yes, we can breathe, people, believe it or not. A lot of smokers out here don't have any issues with breathing, or we don't have coughs, and we're not hacking up our lungs like, the paranoid anti-smokers want to portray us. But this vaping, I swear to God, vaping is the worst thing that could have ever happened to 18-year-olds in our country, but it's the best thing that could have ever happened to smokers. Because now we get to say, we were right. Smoking a battery is worse. Smoking these vaping products is worse than smoking your good old-fashioned cigarettes. We had it right to begin with, and all those paranoid people who said, oh my God, they say, who the hell are they, first of all, but they say, if you smoke a cigarette 500 feet, 500-mile radius of my person, you're going to give me lung cancer. Bitch, I smoke the cigarettes and I don't have the lung cancer. How the hell are you going to get it? Are you kidding me? You're 500 yards down the damn beach. You're not getting lung cancer from my cigarette. Not to mention the wind's blowing it all over the place. But this is what non-smokers have been told. And they're very loud people. You think I'm loud? Oh, madam. The non-smokers, the anti-smokers, the former smokers. I quit, so can you. Dude, I don't want to quit. Just because you quit, hey, yay! I lost 50 pounds. I have fat friends who say, good for you, you lost 50 pounds. I don't want to stop eating fried chicken. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to force you. But see, smokers, we're not treated that way. I quit, you can quit. See, dude, I don't want to quit. I love my cigarettes. I enjoy every cigarette I smoke. And I'm 55 years old, so this 21 thing doesn't affect me in the least. But I'm going to tell you what. There's this hypocrisy about our government. And I got to tell you, what is the one thing that I tell you every time I do a show? What does political Paula hate? Hypocrites. Hypocrites. So here's the deal now. When you're 18, it used to be, when you turned 18, you were an adult. That meant, by the way, mommy and daddy didn't have to pay your bills anymore. You could do anything you wanted. You were an adult. You could get married. You could have children, although I don't advise that. And of course, we've got 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds having babies now. But anyway, at 18, you were age of consent. You could sleep. You could have sex with someone your parents disapproved of. They couldn't do a damn thing about it. You could get married. You can have babies. You can buy a house. You can, do everything on your own. You can vote. You can go into the military. You can be forced to go into the military if our country reestablishes the draft. And it used to be you could buy cigarettes. You couldn't buy a six-pack of beer, though. And you still can't. And you could serve jury duty. You can be called for jury duty once you turn 18. Now, there's also another law that's coming to pass in many states that you have to be 21 to buy a firearm. Well, see, again, hypocrisy. I've really changed my complete mind on all of these things, including firearms, by the way. Because here's the hypocrisy. Okay, you're 18. Okay, you are, according to our government, you are responsible enough and mature enough to vote, to make a decision who our next president will be. You can vote for elected officials. We trust you because you're 18 now. Okay? When you are 18, we trust you. You're responsible enough to go into the military, be given huge kinds of firearms, be taught how to kill people, and be sent to shithole countries to defend and maybe even die for your country. We trust you. You're 18. You're an adult. We trust you to get a job and support yourself. Well, maybe not that, because again, Obama said you can stay on mommy and daddy's health insurance till you're 26, which means you really don't need a good job till you're 26 or 26 and a half. And they do just 6 months. Here's what you can't do when you're 18 anymore. You can't buy a 6-pack of beer, and you can't buy a pack of cigarettes. So, and in some states, you can't even buy a firearm. You can't buy a gun, but if you go into the military, we'll teach you how to shoot the really good guns. You know, those big ones. And then you can go over, you can't kill people in America with those guns. You can't shoot up your school, and that's bad. But it's okay if we send you over to the shithole countries and you can kill anybody over there and get away with it. So we trust you to do that. But God forbid, we don't trust you to be smart enough and mature enough and responsible enough to purchase and consume alcohol or purchase and smoke cigarettes. Hypocrisy. Anybody agree with me on this? And I don't care if you like smoking or drinking or you hate smoking and drinking. It's hypocritical. Because if we're going to trust you at 18 to decide if someone is guilty or innocent of a crime, serving jury duty, to decide if someone spends the rest of their life in prison, but you can't leave that courthouse and go buy a 6-pack after you just sentenced someone, ruined their life, they're going to jail for the rest of their life, or God forbid, a death penalty case. But you can't go out and buy a pack of cigarettes and have a beer. And if you can buy the cigarettes, well, you can't smoke them anywhere. Hypocrisy. How is an 18-year-old responsible enough to do all these really important things, but too stupid to decide for themselves whether or not they want to drink some beer or smoke a cigarette? Please, somebody give me the answer. And let me also just say, just for shits and giggles, I've talked about this before, big time. When I was 18, okay, so December 13th, I was 17. Okay, December 18th, or December 13th, 1983, 1982, I was 17. Anyway, you know what? I don't even know. I'm just saying, the day that I was 17 and at midnight I turned 18, no bells and whistles went off, no light bulbs went off. I was the same person I was 24 hours ago. So let me just put this question out there to you. The day that you turned 18, did something go off in your brain that all of a sudden you felt, oh boy, I can now die for my country. I feel more responsible. I mean, hell, just yesterday you were 17. Think about that. So when you were 20, and at midnight on your 20th, when you were still 20, the day before your 21st birthday, when that clock struck midnight, did all of a sudden, oh my God, I feel so much more able to handle alcohol now. Thank you, government, for making me wait. Because yesterday, I wouldn't have been able to go out and buy a bottle of wine and drink it responsibly. But now, 24 hours later, I can so handle it. Really? I mean, hypocrisy. Nobody changes like that in 24 hours. I do the joke in my comedy routine that's coming up soon. I'm going to be starting my comedy again. The day I was 49 years old on December 13th. December 14th at midnight, I'm 50. All of a sudden, they want to stick a 16-foot snake up my ass. Oh, you're 50. You need a colonoscopy. Well, how come I didn't need a colonoscopy yesterday? Because between yesterday and today, I kind of feel the same. And I'm 55 now, and they've never stuck a 16-foot snake up my ass, and I've never drank the liquid that makes me shit out everything I've eaten for the last 55 years in 8 hours. And I still feel the same. And by the way, I kind of look the same too as I did 5 years ago when I turned 50. And all of a sudden, they told me I needed to have that snake shoved up my ass. I mean, what changed? Nothing changed. I feel the same at 55 as I did when I was 50. Only a little bit better because I went through the menopause. Oh my God, that was an awakening. That actually made me feel good. That's better than any drug they make. Menopause for me was better than any crack I ever smoked. And believe me, I smoked some good crack. Back in the day, long, long time ago. Statute of limitations on that is so up. I'm serious. I feel awesome at 55. I feel better at 55 than I felt at 45. But because of a number, everything changes. They want to stick a 16-foot snake up my ass. No, that's okay. We'll pass on that. We'll wait a while for that. You don't stick anything up my ass unless it is completely necessary, which means I am in such excruciating pain. The only way to alleviate that pain is to stick something up my ass. That's just the way I roll. But it is funny that these numbers they put on people, and that the second you hit that number, you're supposed to be a new person, more responsible, more mature. Let me tell you what, people. There are 30-year-olds that are not responsible and mature enough to vote, to serve in the military. Hell, they're not even responsible enough to pay a mortgage or rent. They still live with mom and dad. Mommy still does their laundry and cooks their meals. I talk to human resource people who say that because the new generation of employees that come in to apply for jobs have been so infanticized by their parents, by the government, that they can't find anybody to hire. They used to say after a certain age you had a hard time getting a job. Now employers want you in your 40s and 50s. They want people who actually want to do a job. I talked to a couple human resource people that say, first of all, someone will schedule an appointment, and then they won't even call to cancel. They just don't show up. First questions asked from a responsible person are, well, what are the benefits? 401k, retirement, health insurance, do you have vision? Do you have dental? Oh, no, not this new generation of future employees of America. They want to know how much they're getting paid, what the bonuses are, and how much vacation and sick leave do they get. And by the way, they don't work weekends. Don't mess with my weekends. Oh, and by the way, next month, I've got a week ski trip planned. That's already been planned, so I'll be out that week, and I expect to get paid for it. Yeah. Oh, and I don't do overtime. That's what these people are saying. And the human resource people are losing their minds. They can't believe that this is our next generation of employees. So, again, the government is saying if you're 18 or 15 or 16 or 17 and you want to have kids, which is a huge responsibility, you can do that. You can do that. And don't worry about paying for it because the government will pay for it. That's, of course, the Democrats' view. We'll take care of you, welfare, food stamps, Section 8 housing. That's going to be a future show coming up. Oh, what a big mess Section 8 housing is right now. We'll give you the chip. We'll give you the Medicaid. You can have as many babies as you want at whatever age you are, and the government will take care of you. At 18, you can vote. You can serve jury duty. You can be drafted into the military. You can enlist in the military. But you can't buy a six-pack of beer, or now you can't buy a pack of cigarettes or a cigar or any tobacco product. Hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. Now, I do not advocate, especially in these horrible times right now. We might be going to war with Iran. Our military, luckily when my husband was in the military, when he was 17 and 18, he joined in when he was 17. He was in Iraq. He was in the Iraq war, but he was on an aircraft carrier. He was safe, basically. And he got to travel the world. And by the way, he got to drink and smoke in other countries. Because we're the only country in America who has all these ridiculous 21 is your magic number rule. But I don't advocate going into the military necessarily, only because of what I see of our troops coming home and the fact that our troops are not taken care of by our government when they come home. And when they are deployed, their families are not taken care of. We have so many homeless veterans right now, unemployed veterans, veterans with no limbs, have lost limbs. And we're talking 18, 19, 20-year-old kids have lost limbs. And again, they come back to America and they still can't buy a beer. And they don't have an arm or a leg, or they have the PTSD. And now when they come back to America with no hands or no legs, they can't smoke a cigarette. They can't legally purchase cigarettes. You know, if you lose your leg or both your legs, or you have to learn how to walk again, or you have the PTSD, you might want to smoke just to alleviate the stress, because that's a little stressful, don't you think? But you can't do it in America. So my point is, if at 18 you want to be treated like a real adult, go ahead, enlist in the military, because here's the thing. When my husband was in the military, he was 18, and he went to Greece, he went to Italy, he went to Japan, Okinawa. He was on the aircraft carrier. Guess what he was allowed to do? In every port, if he walked into a bar, he could order an alcoholic beverage. Nobody carded him. Nobody even asked. He had his camis on, and they knew he was military, and they just gave him his alcohol. And by the way, in European countries, the drinking age, they don't really have one in some of them. There is no drinking age. Little kids get a glass of wine with Sunday dinner in Italy. It's just a rite of passage. It's like a food group, as Tony Soprano used to say. Wine is a food group in Italy. They don't worry so much about that crap. And you know what? They have less alcoholism. They have less DUIs. They have less instances with bad alcohol in these countries where they don't make it such a taboo like it is in America. Can't drink till you're 21. And again, that magic number, like a 20-year-old all of a sudden turns really responsible in a 24-hour period. Stupid. So if you want to be treated like a real adult and you're not afraid of risking your life or your limbs to serve our country and protect our country, join the military and ask to be deployed in Europe. Because then you will be an adult. You will be able to drink, you will be able to smoke, and you will be doing a good thing. We love our troops. You will be doing a good thing for your country. But remember, when you come home on leave, you're going to have to go back to being a child. No drinking, no smoking, you won't be able to wait to get back to your deployment. Isn't that sad? Only in America. We got to decide what we want, people. You can't have it both ways. Either someone's an adult or they're not. And if they're not an adult enough at 18 to buy cigarettes and buy alcohol, then they certainly are not capable of voting, serving jury duty, or serving in our military. If you're too young and too irresponsible to purchase a gun for your own personal use, then you're certainly too young and irresponsible to fire the big military weapons and kill people overseas. We have to make up our minds. If you're an adult in one direction, in one instance, then you are an adult, and you should have all the rights of an adult. Let's talk about it. We're infantizing our country. We are keeping our people down. 18-year-olds are capable of being adults. But it's not fair to decide certain areas where they're adults and certain areas where they're still children. It's all or nothing, folks. Can't wait to hear your comments. Political Paula, out.